Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Tiny Brains podcast. I'm Kevin Joyce, CEO at Tiny Brains, and with me, as always, is Peter Graham, the Brigadier of Brains at Tiny Brains.
Hello all.
So, as ever, on this podcast, we're going to take a look at the best stories in XR from the previous week, and we're starting with a bit of a banger.
Just a little bit, and this really came out of nowhere for unless you're deep inside the industry or press, and that was Android XR. Woo! Google are back. So it's no surprise because as we've spoken about many times on this show, Google, Samsung, Qualcomm all banded together and announced earlier this year that they were, they're getting into the ecosystem, the XR ecosystem together, and they're going to build something. And we were expecting to hear news actually next month at Samsung Impact. Well, in actual fact, we've heard it last week instead, and they came up with a big announcement. Not only a new operating system, Android XR, but a new headset from Samsung, collaborations with companies like Unity, and a whole bunch more. And it's rather exciting, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, so
Where do you want to
I'm
start?
sure by now, most people watching this podcast will have seen the imagery and maybe even the video circulating online. I was not there in person to see this reveal, and in fact, I didn't even watch it live. I was busy talking to indie developers in the XR space at the time, so there was some excitement during my calls. Yeah, generally speaking, the headset is looking, and perception of it from those who have tried it, looking like somewhere between a Quest Pro and a Vision Pro. Now that's a pretty wide gap. But at this early stage, to be sitting in that premium category, to be widely acknowledged as sitting in that premium category is nice. It's nice for Samsung.
Yeah, it definitely does look like that sort of mashup, doesn't it? Whether it's going to be that sort of price or whether they're going to try and keep it more towards the Quest end rather than the Vision Pro end, we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns at the moment. Yeah, so we've now got three big players in the space, haven't we? We've got Samsung, we've got Apple, we've got Facebook, and this new headset, which doesn't have an official name at the moment. It's called Project Moonhun. I think that's the right way of saying it. Is going to be the first headset that will ship with Android XR. So, and it looks good for what we've seen so far of it. It's going to have hand tracking and eye tracking as some of the features. We don't know specific specs at the moment. We don't know what the FOV will be or what the display resolution will be at the moment. We have heard that it's going to have pancake lenses and that it's going to have automatic IPD adjustment, some modern features realistically, and it's also going to have Google's AI agent Gemini, so you can be able to talk to it and find out information that way as well. There have been no controllers shown for it just yet. It's all been similar to Vision Pro. It's been hand tracking and pinching, but there has been confirmation that motion controllers, first party motion controllers from Samsung, are in the works and should be available when it launches or next year. There's no confirmed date about when it's going to arrive next year, but 2025.
Now, the headset is compatible with both Android XR, which is a WebXR solution using Android, obviously, and Unity. Now, this is a big deal because it opens up development for the platform to a very wide audience, very wide selection of developers who have experience either with WebXR or with Unity. Now, both of these things are compatible with like the Quest and the Vision Pro, but it takes some lifting to get them up and running. And I feel like the idea what Google was presenting during this is that this is a headset that's easy to hit the ground running with. Stuff that you've already made in WebXR will be compatible with this headset. So yeah, it's feel like they're going about the right way to get developers on board. And as we all know, content is king.
Exactly. And in addition to that, Unity have confirmed that they are going to support Android XR from day one. So what they've said is that if you have it's the if developers have the public experimental release of Unity 6, then if they've built their game for Quest on Unity, then porting it over to Android XR should be a breeze. And there are several games that have now been confirmed to be coming to Android XR on day one. So some games that we've heard about at the moment, two from Alchemy Labs, their two most famous ones. Jobs,
A shock.
uh,
Two from the company that was bought by Google. What a shock.
yeah, Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator. That's quite correct. Yes. So that's that was kind of expected. Slightly unexpected. Well, a nice bit of news. Resolution Games' Demio is also going to be ported over, which is great, which is good to hear.
I wouldn't consider this unexpected because it is on everything ever.
Well, yeah,
So, yeah,
Resolution Games
I'd
are.
imagine the Google Cardboard version's in the works, to be honest. But it's a great game, so why not?
And did you also hear about Inside Job, the new game from
I
Alchemy?
did. I did indeed.
So that's going to be their first mixed reality game, and that is going to be coming to Android XR at some point in the future. So yes,
Cool.
if you're on Unity, port to Android XR. By the sounds of it, you'll have it's a nice, easy headset to go to.
And there's also other hardware news along this front, right?
Yeah. There's more coming. Naturally, because Google is just making the operating system, they're wanting as many third-party vendors as possible. So there have been additional confirmation from Sony, Lynx, and Xreal that we are getting headsets. Now we've not heard. This is very early news, but the most I've heard so far is from Lynx saying that they are not going to port their current model, the R1 over. They're going to design a brand new headset for Android XR, which sounds good. I know Lynx have taken a while in the past to do their previous headsets, so I'm gonna wait with bated breath on that one. But it's good to hear that they want to support Android.
And it's worth pointing out at this point that the Sony alignment here is not an expectation of a PSVR 3. Where instead it's more likely to be a different model in this range of Android XR opposed to anything PlayStation branded.
Hmm. Yeah, I believe that Sony are going to be showing some sort of headset at CES in January, as far as I'm aware. Again, nothing PlayStation branded. It's going to be a separate XR device.
So moving on from what's coming down the line, we have some news about some headsets that we already have now.
Meta have, well, they previously announced that they were going to collab with Microsoft and get a connection with Windows. So you could then put on your Quest headsets and it would go into Windows. Now, this has been a little while coming, but in the new version 72 update, that is going to happen. So only for Quest 3 and Quest 3S, but when you put on your headset, if you're sat in front of your laptop or PC, as long as it's Windows 11, it will then open up and you'll get your PC screen come up in mixed reality, just like Vision Pro does on Mac. And additionally, as well, it's not just a complete seamless. You're gonna just fire up your Windows 11 PC and be able to see it in mixed reality. You do need a couple of extra steps as well. There's a mixed reality link app on the Microsoft Store that you need to download first, and that's essentially it. Then you can just connect your headset and away you go. This is also important because Windows 10 is support for Windows 10 is being dropped next year. So this is another push to get people into Windows 11 as soon as possible. I think it's October 2025 that Windows 10 support is being dropped by Microsoft.
Far too early. Far too early. What happened to that 4 year life cycle? Has it been 4 years since Windows 10 launched?
Yeah, Windows 11's probably been out for 4 years.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. It's still
Well,
not very
put in the comments how long it's been.
Prove me wrong, please.
How old are we?
So moving on, we're going to wrap up with some gaming news as we do every week, and we've got quite a bit this week, so we're going to rattle through this pretty quickly. Now, first up, PlayStation VR 2 fans. Well, hey, something for you, or PlayStation VR in general. PlayStation VR 2. I can't remember.
Star Wars. Everyone loves Star Wars.
Oh,
So,
so if you're a PlayStation Plus premium subscriber, you get free games added to your roster every month. We all know this. And this month, there is a PlayStation VR game coming, which is the Star Wars, the Tales from the something galaxy, something.
Star Wars
Something.
Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. You said it so eloquently.
the one. So yeah, this is a good game.
Yeah,
Go get it.
it hits the catalog, I think, December 19th. So,
So enjoy this week. We also have some news on licensing, in that we have a bunch of new music coming to a bunch of music games. There is Metallica coming to Beat Saber, and also Smash Drums is getting Fall Out Boy and Foo Fighters. So big names, big brands coming to your local rhythm action games.
nice. Well, don't know if you are, but I'm a Metallica fan. Have been for since I was a kid. So I'm always tempted to buy the DLC, although it is very expensive for the 17 songs that you get. It is like the most expensive DLC they've released. I might not.
No, no, they're a singles band. They're all right. Um, I do quite like Fall Out Boy and Foo Fighters. All right. Yeah.
Fall Out Boy can be fun. Yeah.
Anyway, and wrapping up, we have the big one, which is, of course, the Game Awards was last week. So congratulations to the devs behind Batman, best VR game. As predictable as it was that it would win, it's great to see that studio being recognized for their work. So congratulations, everybody. Woo. So that's it. That's wrapping up this week's podcast. Short and sharp this week. If there's anything that you would like to see discussed on this podcast, please reach out to myself or Peter at any of the millions of places that you can reach us and tell us your story. And maybe you'll get chatted about on this show. Thank you very much, everybody.